The good acceptance of the Mirage F-1 as an aggressor aircraft involves its low operating cost and performance. The fighter is capable of reaching Mach 2.2 and flying at an altitude of up to 20,000 meters. Interestingly, it is a rare Dassault fighter jet that does not have delta wings, a solution embraced by the company's founder, Marcel Dassault. With good payload capacity, the F-1 was also used in attack and reconnaissance missions. Today, however, the fighter is only operational in 3 countries, Morocco, Gabon, and Iran, which were captured from Iraqis in the Gulf War. During the first Gulf War, Iran gained access to a small number of Iraqi Dassault Mirage F-1 warplanes. The aircraft were moved to Iran from fear of destruction and dogfights with more modern Western planes. Rather than returning them, Iran seized the aircraft as part of compensation for its 1980-88 war with Iraq. Iran now possesses 24 Mirage F-1BQ and F-1EQ planes. It is not clear exactly how many of these fighters are operational. From the very beginning, Iran has had many problems in operating them. As the plane radars are designed for French and American air-to-air and air-to-ground missiles, Iran had for years serious problems with supplies, installation of radar, available missile synchronization and pilot training. However, it has been able to modify. The jets have already been armed with Iranian-built weapon systems, making them capable of carrying various projectiles, including indigenous cruise missiles with up to 300 kilometers in range. The Mirage F-1 is considered the supersonic fighter of European second generation, more successful, being acquired by the air forces of 11 countries for a total of 700 units built. The Mirage F-1 was developed to be the replacement fighter Dassault Mirage 3 and Dassault Mirage V. His studies began after the year 1963, when French Air Force requested a study containing the specification of a multifunctional fighter capable of carrying out interception missions at supersonic speed and penetration at low altitude in any time. Also was required to accommodate 2 basic operational factors: greater autonomy and radius of the mission, and the use of distance shorter runways for takeoff and landing, allowing the approach at a speed below 140 knots 260 km per hour, all with the lowest possible cost. The use of delta wing used by the family Mirage fighter pilots demanded that they approached at high speed during procedures for landing, which led Dassault to conduct an extensive survey of shape of wings for fighter aircraft. With this, the engineering department of the company Dassault began work on a project called Mirage F-3. This project would first reactor equipped with an American Pratt & Whitney TF-106 and would use swept wings at the top of the fuselage with flaps in order to reduce the approach speed for landing. In 1965, 3 prototypes of a 2-seat version called Mirage 3 F-2 are ordered. The first prototype, using a Pratt & Whitney TF-30, made its maiden flight on the day June 12 of 1966. Later this year, has already demonstrated his ability to reach a speed of Mach 2. Meanwhile, Dassault decided to develop a version of a small game with a place and equipped with engine Sekma TAR-9K of Mirage IV, designating Mirage F-1 in 2001. This aircraft made its maiden flight on the day December 23 of 1966. In early January 1967, during its 4th flight, this game has also reached a speed of Mach 2. Despite the good performance shown by the prototypes Mirage 3 F-2 and Mirage G with variable geometry wings, the French Air Force decided to no longer fund these projects, leaving only the design of Mirage F-1, which was selected. The first flight of the series took place on February 15 of 1973. Also in 1973, Dassault decided to build 2 copies designated for Europe, Mirage F-1E and fitted with the Snecma M53 engine. This model entered the contest for the NATO's standard fighter that was rejected in favor of the F-16 Fighting Falcon. The Mirage F-1C placed in service for the French Air Force in May 1973, when the first production of these fighters were delivered. Initially they were equipped with 2 air-air missiles Matra R-530 medium range than the 2 internal 30mm cannon. Later, in the late 70s, these missiles were replaced by Super 530F and the rails installed on the wings to house the air-air missiles Matra R-550 Magic Short Range. The F-1 was exported widely and has seen extensive combat with the majority of its operators. Conflicts have included the Persian Gulf Tanker War, during which Iraq's Exocet-armed F-1X attacked oil tankers in international waters, South Africa's externals into neighboring countries, and Desert Storm. Recently, the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force, IRIAF, has the nationwide drills, codenamed Fadayan-e-Haram-e Velayat, devotees of the Velayat Sanctuary. Iranian military experts and technicians have in recent years made great progress in developing and manufacturing a broad range of domestically produced equipment, making the armed forces self-sufficient in this regard. Iranian officials have repeatedly underscored that the Islamic Republic will not hesitate to build up its defense capabilities, emphasizing such abilities are entirely meant for the purpose of defense and will be never subject to negotiations. According to Vahedi, Mirage F-1 fighters and F-4 bombers flew at low altitudes and successfully practiced air interception operations while accompanied by F-14 fighters. Also, F-5 and MiG-29 fighters conducted air combat operations during which the missile fired by the mock enemy aircraft was tracked and destroyed by air-to-air missiles, the commander added.